Hey everyone, I'm the Canadian lad and I just watched Thor 1 in 0.25x speed and found many new details that are quite a bit difficult to notice in regular speed. So without wasting any of your time, I'll jump straight to the point. Number 1. A minute into the movie and we see Jane Foster using some astronomical applications on her laptop. And this is not something Marvel made up. If we zoom in, look what it says in the bottom right corner. It says Van Allen bells, and this actually do exist in real astrophysics. Van Allen bells are invisible magnetic force fields surrounding our planet, protecting us from harmful solar wind that could potentially annihilate Earth. And if I simplify this even more, the sun produces some highly charged protons and electrons that could have reached our planet and destroy our power grids and even damage electronic devices. But it doesn't happen because Van Allen belts surrounding our planet captures those wind and prevents it from entering Earth. And to be able to see this in such a small scene in a Marvel film makes me respect them even more. Now before I move on to my next point, I'd like to thank NordVPN for sponsoring this video. And right now, NordVPN has a 70% off sale for using the code thecanadianbrat, plus you'll get 1 month for absolutely free. And here's why you need NordVPN. Remember how Tony hacked into the government system in the Senate hearing and exposed all their secret experiments? Guess what? There are people like that in the real life as well, but in a very creepy way. And that's why our privacy is always at stake while surfing through the internet. But here's where NordVPN comes in. It protects your internet traffic, encrypts it, and routes it through a remote server to protect your data from anyone trying to view it. And not only that, it allows you to watch content not available in your country on platforms such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney+. So go ahead and protect your information today and unlock some great content by clicking the link in description and use the code thecanadianbrat to get 70% off. Number 2. I began watching this movie from the previous film Iron Man 2 because it had a post-credit scene that was directly taken from Thor 1. And in the post-credit scene of Iron Man 2, Agent Coulson arrives in New Mexico and says on a phone call that he found the hammer.
Sir, we found it.
But notice the car he drives in has no Will badge in the post-credit scene, but the same shot in Thor 1 has the badge totally visible. Now this probably happened because Marvel might have yet not reached an agreement with Thor when they released Iron Man 2, and that's why they couldn't show this product placement. But when Thor 1 was released, they probably made an agreement and the badge was finally shown. Number 3. The car that Stan Lee was driving while trying to move the hammer is seen again in the background during the diner scene. When I was watching the diner scene in slow motion, this car in the background really seemed a bit odd, and upon doing some digging, it really is the same car that Stan Lee was using. Number 4. When Odin comes to save Thor and his friends from the frost giant, Odin arrives in a horse that has 8 legs. This is Sleipnir from Norse mythology. Number 5. Right after Loki comes to know that he indeed is from Jotunheim, he comes back to Asgard and uses the casket to see his original form, but Odin commands him to stop doing that, and then Loki turns and we see him in his actual form.
Stop!
Am I cursed?
No.
What am I?
You're my son.
But notice right after he grabbed the casket, his hands were already beginning to turn blue. Another great attention to detail. Number 6. When we get our first look at Mjolnir, in the background we can see the eternal flame that Hela later used in Thor Ragnarok to resurrect her army and the wolf, aka Fenris.
With the eternal flame, you are reborn.
Number 7. When Thor failed to lift the hammer, for a few seconds this symbol appeared on the side of Mjolnir. The symbol is called the triquetra. This appeared once already when Odin enchanted his spell. If you see it in 0.25x speed, you can see the triquetra slowly fading away. And the fact that it showed up in this scene and then faded away kinda tells me that in this moment, Mjolnir was trying to tell something to Thor. Something like, don't lose hope, you can still become worthy and up. Okay, moving on. Number 8. Heimdall keeps watch at Thor and saw how he failed to lift his own hammer. But notice if we zoom in, then we can see a reflection on Heimdall's eye. It resembles the exact layout of the shield base that was built around the hammer. The next shot shows there's literally nothing but space in front of Heimdall. So the reflection definitely means it was off the shield base. Number 9. This billboard appears in the movie a couple of times. It says Land of Enchantment, Journey into Mystery. Now the Land of Enchantment is what New Mexico is called for its natural beauty, but Journey into Mystery is the title of the comic book where Thor made his debut. Number 10. When Lady Sif and the Warriors 3 arrived on planet Earth, Agent Coulson sent some of the SHIELD agents to find out who they are, and one of those agents was carrying an iced coffee. Now this has nothing to do with the story or the plot of the film, but I appreciate their effort into making this movie more realistic. Which brings me to my next point, number 11. These two agents inform SHIELD about who they're looking at, and one of them describes the group as Xena, Jackie Chan and Robin Hood, with no mention of anybody resembling Volstagg.
Called in. Yeah. At base, we've got Xena, Jackie Chan, and Robin Hood.
This seemed a little weird to me. Why would you look at a group of 4 people and only describe 3 of them? So I did some search on Google and found Ray Stevenson, the actor who played the role of Volstagg, wasn't available on set when they shot the arrival of Lady Sif and the Warriors 3. He was added in post-production, and that's why Marvel put him up in front so they don't have to edit his shadow. Number 12. When Dr. Eric Selvig bails out Thor from SHIELD's captivity, he used a fake ID as a proof that Thor is with him, and his name is Donald Blake, but the photo they used to make this fake profile is a picture of Thor that Darcy took in the diner. Number 13. After killing the destroyer, Thor arrives back in Asgard and immediately points to Heimdall and says get him to the healing room. This scene echoes another scene where Odin rescued Thor and his friends, and upon reaching Asgard, Odin immediately said get him to the healing room now.
Get him to the healing room!
You had a need to protect your friends. How can you hope to protect the kingdom? Get him to the healing room. No!
This draws a parallel between Thor and Odin and shows how Thor has overcame his way of vengeance and has grown into something bigger. This detail didn't need me watching this in slow motion, but watching it in slow motion helped me draw this parallel, and I thought it's worth pointing out. Number 14. Kenneth Branagh, who directed this movie, also voiced a character in Avengers Infinity War. The distress call made from the Asgardian ship to ask for help when Thanos attacked, Kenneth Branagh did voiceover for that character, and he did an amazing job with his voice being all shaky and scared, which made it possible for Infinity War to begin with such a dark plot. Number 15. When Mjolnir is discovered on Earth for the first time, we saw that nobody could move it, but that's old news. What I found watching it in slow motion are pieces of glass around Mjolnir. Now you may ask, how is that relevant? Well, if I may use a little bit of my knowledge of physics, I learned in school that lightning can turn sand into glass. Sand melts at about 1800 degrees Celsius, and the temperature in a bolt of lightning can reach up to 30,000 degrees Celsius. If all conditions are met, then lightning can turn sand into fulgurite. Fulgurite is basically made of glass. The word fulgurite comes from the Latin word fulgur, which literally means lightning, and that's how lightning can turn sand into glass. And it's amazing that Marvel followed the laws of physics, because we all know when Mjolnir arrived on Earth, it came through a lightning. And had I not watched it in slow motion, I don't think I could have caught that. And that's all I have from Thor 1 as of now, and I hope I was able to give you at least a few new details through this video. And if I did, then please grab the subscribe button and follow me on Instagram. I will see you lads in the next one.